Welcome, my friends. This is Maniacal Incorporated, and you join me as we defend against a war declared towards the end of the last episode by Man, which has not alone the Isle of Man, but also part of, I suppose, what would be Normandy. And they are landing their forces here on the south of Ireland. Our allies from Iceland are coming in, and we're going to march through Scotland and Ireland, picking up some reinforcements on the way, hopefully, and also giving our allies time to land. And we're going to see if we can meet up with them, maybe down around here, and strike against these forces. So it'll be important to see what exactly our allies are doing. They are landing on the Isle of Man, and it'll be interesting then to see how the Manx actually respond to that. Some of their forces are departing by the looks of it, possibly to go up and attack. And there's been a new change in the line of succession. So Coning, Ruacon's son, is now in line to inherit Ireland should we die suddenly. Our councillor has converted Alach from Norse to Irish culture. Great work, Conall. Conall, of course, has recently expanded into Leinster, and he's freaking us out a bit. So we're not too sure what we're going to do with him. I do see here more forces. I wonder, are they allied to Man? They're not. So Briog, our reckless marshal, is going to march the forces directly in here against this army from Holmwick. More than likely, they're going to then come into the fray, but hopefully we have enough elite forces that we will be able to push them off. They do have a higher quality, higher quality forces. And we're seeing more troops coming in, and indeed we might actually see a Scandinavian landing. So I seem to be raising... I'm not entirely too sure. Is this my sister? I think it is. It is, yeah. I seem to be raising her. I'm not interested in taking 68 stress to change her away from fickle. She's also delicate, the poor old thing. So moving on is often the best approach. And here we're about to have a large battle. And indeed, the Scandinavian forces are going to come in to assist us. So we have 1,000 above and beyond what they have. We're quickly driving them back. Donal was wounded. So Donal has been fighting with us. This is the third High King that Donal is fighting in service to. And we're getting more champions coming in to join us, and we have driven the Manx from Ireland. Some of them are pulling back and retreating. The Scandinavians that were successfully sieging down the Isle of Man have now turned around and left that siege, which is a bit of a nuisance. So I think what we'll do is we'll go up and see if we can take it, because there's a lot of gold there. It would be great to get that gold. And you also saw that there has been a change. Kukurka, who we are supporting for the High Kingship, will take over in the event that Flann Sinna dies. So here we can see the list of knights. There's Coning, the son of Ruacon, the previous High King, who Flann Sinna sent poisoned coins to weaken his health. He was our top knight with 30 kills. Éan Bacán, who is married to a daughter of the former High King Grian Grafador. And from her, there's a giant son. I've changed him to a martial focus, and hopefully we'll have another knight out of him. And if we come down, here is Donal, 16 kills. Donal doesn't like us a huge lot, but he's after wounding himself now a small bit. He's still at 10 prowess, but we have had some new knights join, and we can see one there. Champion has arrived, so I'm gonna see about hiring a few of them, and that might actually push Donal out of the list of active knights. He's ugly, but god damn it, does he know how to fight. We're going to hire this guy. We're going to get 23 stress because we're paranoid. So just like his namesake, his grandfather, Flann Sinna, who used to get stressed by talking to people, this Flann Sinna gets stressed by inviting people to court. So we're going to recruit him to court. Something I just saw here, I'm not entirely too sure why. The forbidden and allow. Is it that we have so few knights? We have 8. We have 8. So I think our court has kind of changed recently in strange ways. Here actually he's just came of age. This is an older child of Mora's. So this is the daughter of Green Graffador, and that giant trait is coming from her mother, Green Graffador's wife Hildeburg, a princess of West Francia. So we're going to forbid and allow him to be a knight. Allow Kirkamur to be a knight. I think we have to come down here to the bottom. And there's poor O'Donnell. We forbid him and allow him. And then it starts moving up the list. Yeah, and there we go. So, Kirkamur is now a champion. And as is his nephew, who is stronger than him. A more efficient knight. And poor O'Donnell, I'd say for the first time since he came to our court, since he came to Green Graffador's court and was gang pressed into service, he is no longer serving as a knight. He can take a bit of a break, but who knows, as we expand and get more slots for knights, he might be pushed back into service. After our Marshal Briog's great victory at Ormond, our king, High King Flann Sinna, has turned his attention towards him, has developed a great liking for him, a great admiration, perhaps a bit too much. And Flann Sinna is going to begin a scheme to seduce his daughter. Not that long ago, I got a pop-up that my steward had finished converting the culture in Alach to Irish, and now the entire island of Ireland is Irish. All of the Norse culture has been driven out. I think we do have a few regions to stop the heresy, and of course we're going to see a big spread of insular Christianity, which is now, well, I won't say a big spread, but we see it spreading into parts of France and Italy, into Savoy, and we might try and push it. We will definitely try and push it into the lands that we have captured here in Scotland, but we're not going to push the Irish culture in here. It would be great. What I might do is put Pictish or Gaelic rulers in place where possible. But I'm not actually going to try and replace the Gaelic culture up here. I don't occupy this area, but we're not going to try and push Irish into this region. We have gotten a little pop-up about the secrets that we know about our uncle, Urquell, and that maybe his sister would be interested in learning about this information. Perhaps she would even be interested enough to offer me something substantial in exchange. I don't remember doing that, but apparently Ruacon had... I think there's something wrong there, because I don't believe... Ah, right, I see, yes. So it says was executed by High King Ruacon. Ruacon wouldn't have been in power at that stage in 919, so he wasn't High King when he carried out that execution in 919. I was wondering, Ruacon, the devil, executed a wife of... I'm trying to figure out who this is. Yeah, one of his stepmother. Basically, he executed his stepmother. God, Ruacon, you nutcase. But what we can either sell for money, I would like money, and a possible chance of 300 intrigue lifestyle experience, which would be great, or for a weak hook, or hoarding secrets for 5 years, which gives +1 intrigue. I think I'm going to go for the money. So there's a 62% chance that she will give us the money. And no, God, look at that. Look at that for faces. There's an awkward conversation there. Won't give us the money, so we lose 10 opinion with her. There's a bit of a rush on for the Isle of Man at the moment as well. The Manx forces are retreating there, and our forces are actually crossing across, as well as some raiders. So the raiders are crossing, then our forces are going to cross. Then The Manx forces are actually leaving there. Our allies are coming out to meet them. Such a strange scenario. Again, there has been a swap from Kukurka to our cousin Coning. So yeah, it looks like I'm bringing up some of my younger siblings. I'm going to change that, but for now, Turin rushed in to defend somebody, speaking on behalf of Jesus, and we're gonna have him keep that zealous trait. So I'm not entirely sure how this is going to go. Some raiders have landed. They might actually block this army from retreating. Yeah, and this army might come out into the water. God, this is going to be confusing. So let's see how this all pans out. So the raiders have indeed hit the Manx and forced them to stay on the island. Our allies are coming out into the ocean. They're locked into place. We're going to come across and then attack Man itself. I don't think those forces are still going to be there by then. As long as we siege down the island and get the 24 gold, I don't really care. So our allies, I suppose that was actually a smarter idea. They've gone a faster route. They came out into the ocean. They're coming this way now. The Manx forces have split. Well, they're now staying in place. So there's going to be a large battle when we wade in a second or two. And there we go. They have better advantage. Ha 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 ha. Our scheme to seduce our marshal's daughter. We're getting lots of pop-ups. We're being blocked by the pop-ups of our knights. We're not interested in that. We don't care what knights are fighting and dying for us. So we have a number of different options here. This one will give us an 80% chance of success. This will give us a 52% chance. Or we could go with this option, which will give us +1 diplomacy for 5 years. We are at 10 diplomacy. But I think we'll go with the 80% chance of success. We will get... I'll get my spies to uncover what her tastes and preferences are. Oh yeah, there's a battle. So one of our knights wounded Princess Martha, and I forgot to highlight that in the last time when I brought up the list of casualties, that there were a few female warriors topping the list for the Manx forces. It seems I was perhaps a little indelicate in approaching her. Now she wonders why I'm so unreasonably interested. It is a very unreasonable interest. So we have bad impressions. Scheme success chances down to -10. Or it's down -10, I should say. There are more forces coming in. And the Manx War has been invalidated. Because High King Flann Sinna no longer controls any of the claimed counties. So be it. What's after happening here? What's after happening here? So he's always been in place. It was Oriel that we were fighting over. Yeah, I don't really understand what's after happening there. That child has been in power for 4 years. Would it be that his claimant died? Well, that was a weird end. Here's what we do. We march our forces across into Wigtown. There's all our allies putting on their shields and vanishing into the night. We convert them to raiders and we send them straight back. So we haven't been finding any more secrets in Kukurka's court, so we're going to send her up to the court of my brother, my elder brother, the Count of Connacht, and see what she finds there. So here is my giant son Brangan, and we're being told that because he's curious, he would struggle with a martial education, which is a pity because he's a giant. So it looks instead, if he's curious, we will send him down the diplomacy route, which I think is what he's already on. No, it's not. We'll send him to diplomacy. We'll choose his focus, and we'll see who we can send him to as a guardian. And do you know what? For all the trouble that he causes, Orchestrated, our uncle Orchestrated, our counselor, he's our chancellor at the moment. And yeah, for all his problems, what is he? He's taken. Oh, I think he got rid of his stepmother as a lover. That's progress, I suppose. So our forces have landed back on the Isle of Man to siege it down for the 24 quid that we desperately want. And we might actually just go back to doing some raiding, which is what I was doing in the last episode before I was so rudely interrupted. We've sieged that down, so we'll bring our forces across. We'll head for Maybole next, and then yeah, I'm gonna have to see where the next good places are, possibly pushing back down into Jorvik and maybe even down south into Mercia. We have another chance to improve our attempts to seduce the daughter of our leading general, a reading in Tralee. You cannot imagine how strange a title that seems. The celebrations had come to an end and the evening's entertainment seemed to be over when Muriel suggested a reading. A clerk soon arrives, wondering what the guests would like to hear, and I see my chance to impress her. So yeah, we can push into smouldering chemistry. We failed on the last one, so it dropped by 10%. We did have a 30% chance, now it's down to 20. I'm thinking from her stats that she would like something entertaining, so it's either something informative, religion, no, informative, or, sorry, entertaining or informative, actually. Yeah, no, I'm going to go with entertaining. I think this links to the... Do you know, I have no idea. Religion would link to learning. Would informative link to diplomacy? I'm thinking entertainment would link to diplomacy. I'm going to go with entertaining. I want to be entertained. She later approaches me. Good choice, Flann Sinna, she says, and runs a hand through her hair. So we got 20% chance towards seducing her. It was great, wasn't it? We've also hit Carrick, and we're sieging that down. There isn't a lot of great spots to siege around here. We might actually have to push up into Scotland, says he, picking some place with 3 gold. There is a couple of places up here that have numbers that are bigger than all those numbers I've just selected. That's how far we'd have to push up before we start hitting anything of any good. And here is the daughter of the, I'm calling him the King of Norway, who brought some forces to our aid, and yeah, we will accept that betrothal. Let's see if we can immediately make her convert to insular Christianity. We can. And we finished our siege, so now we need to pick where we're going next. Where in the world we're going to next. So the lands here belonging to the Swedish would be, especially this one, would be an immediate target for, and up here as well, for us to attack and raid if it wasn't for the fact that the Swedish can put together just over 4,000 troops and another 2,500 in terms of allies, which is greatly more than we can put together. So we're going to have to watch them. We're going to have to kind of keep an eye on them, what they are and aren't doing in this region, and yeah, we're going to be staying away from them in terms of raiding. So I've reluctantly taken the decision to push north. Our major problem is there's a lot of wars going along here. There's one in Jorvik, so these guys are sieging down parts of Jorvik, and by the time that we get down here, most of this will be sieged and raided, and then we're going to have to push even further south. So I think the most effective thing to do is to split our forces here and push north. So our wife Enid, who has given us so far our only son, and 2 daughters of recent, she's with child, and I should be overjoyed. However, she has been acting strange. So we're going to have our... we'll have our... I will look into this discreetly, and there's a 92% chance that we'll be able to figure out what's going on. It seems as though my suspicions were unfounded, but she has found out that we were snooping around, and she is disappointed in me. I should have trusted you all along. I've split off the armies, and I'm sending them up to raid here, where there isn't a huge lot, and here, where there's a bit more. And it'll at least keep the armies close if the forces decide to attack us. They do have a good chunk of people, but we should be able to see them off. And now somebody is making a seduction attempt towards us, I believe. How do you like the stew, my lord? No, this isn't a seduction attempt. Mixed in with pieces of vegetables are fatty chunks of meat. The stringy texture interrupted with what looks to be short and sparse fur. When asked about the ingredients, my private cook, Bardov, only smiles and tries to placate me. My only wish is to serve you, my lord. Let's look at her stats. Okay. She thinks she can keep a secret from me. 60% chance that we will find out what it is. And that we'll get some lifestyle experience. We've just gotten a trait, actually, so I'll click that. Oh, and we have another pop-up in the Throes of Passion. So we've succeeded in our seduction scheme. I'm not going to read this, it's a bit salacious. It's a bit blue. I usually put these videos up at 9 in the morning, and you'd have to wait. I wouldn't be able to read this until after the watershed, but you can pause if you so wish and read it. It's very blue. It's very bold. There was... So we can get opinion in the seduction, where she becomes our lover, or we can love her and leave her. I think we'll take her as a lover. And pause very quickly to go and look at our lifestyle perks. I'm undecided. I did say that I was going to divert towards the schemer route, and we did put a point in here, and I would probably head next for digging for dirt, but instead, especially after the difficulties we just had there with the seduction scheme, I'm going to come back and put a point in here. And I think what I'm going to do is pretty much just go back and forth between the 2 trees. So next we'll be digging for dirt, and I think after that is we'll have to see. He doesn't have any negative attraction penalties, I don't think. So yeah, we might go for graceful recovery next. As I enter the kitchen, it lies dark and empty, the air heavy with smoke. In a corner, I find Bardov's cookbook, covered in stains. When cooking liver, it has been noted that excessive beer consumption can significantly lower the quality of the organ. A cold feeling settles in my chest as I turn to another page. However, when cooking younger children beneath the age of... So we have a cannibal in the court. We have a couple of options. But it was so delicious. Flann Sinna is an intrigue type. Do you know what? I think if Ruacán got this, I think this is what we'd be clicking if Ruacán was still in power. We have the ability to throw her in the dungeon. I think it's going to be a plain and simple execution. And we get 50 lifestyle points as well, I believe. So that pushes us further down the path towards our next lifestyle perk or update. A insular family. I raise my hand to call for my wife, I believe. My cousin and wife. Oh, yes, that's right. From across the hall, Yet she returns only an embarrassed glance and rushes off. So my archbishop has been telling lies about me. That I'm a wicked High King. How dare you? And that God cursed our house. I too have a few things to say about him. We have a 100% chance that we will convince my relatives that he is lying. And he is. He is lying. It's all lies. We have received a demand from our Archbishop. Greetings, High King Flann Sinna of Ireland. It is my duty to inform you that irrefutable evidence has been unveiled proving that your marriage with High Queen Dovlema is consanguineous in nature. This information will stay between the two of us if you end this unholy union at once. How dare he? How dare he? He's trying to break up my marriage. He is demanding that I divorce my... Oh, I was thinking of getting a divorce from her anyway. Oh, this is fantastic. I've been handed a free divorce. Now, the other options are basically to refuse for various different reasons or to give him a weak hook on us. This is an interesting one because if I close this a second and come to the religions or the tenets and whatnot of insular Christianity, avunculate marriage is allowed. So marriage between cousins, aunts, nephews, and uncles, nieces is allowed. And we are married to our cousin. So there's nothing illegal here. But yeah, no, sure. If he wants us to divorce our wife who no longer gives us an alliance and has given us a daughter, yeah, sure. And there you go. We've divorced our wife. Just like that. How handy. And we also ransomed back for 50 quid a prisoner that we just took in Scotland. So that's nice and handy. Making money and getting alliance slots. This is fantastic. In future, I really should pick women whose names I can pronounce. But here's one that will give us an alliance into, I think it's Middlesex. 868 troops on our border who can complain about something like that. Down here on the bottom left is our primary wife, High Queen Enid. And of course we recently accused her of cheating on us and having a child. Oh no, that she became pregnant by somebody else. And I presume while on a visit to her sister's court, to her family's court maybe to make up from it. Here's her sister-in-law. And here is her primary heir, who I don't think is married into the family. So yeah, let's start a seduction scheme there. I presume she caught our attention while we were in the court. She is the Countess of West Riding. I'm sure we can make some jokes there. And it's an area actually that we were thinking about coming down into, but it was at war. That war seems to have ended. But we were thinking of coming down here and raiding some of these places, but there was lots of raids and lots of wars going on. Nope, never mind. Somebody's sieging down there, and there's an army after sieging down this area as well. So this devil is trying to send this girl back to us again. I think we refused. We declined that prisoner before. He won't ransom this one to me for some strange reason. I'm not entirely too sure why. Oh, he will. I just have to pay him money. That makes sense. So we'll ransom her. She was married to somebody before. I think she was married to a knight. I've gone over this already. He was killed when Ulster was sieged down. And our uncle was in love with her for a period of time. I think he still is. So we've made a chunk of money from raiding and from, I think we made like 60 quid from selling back prisoners. We're still going to siege down this area here. We've bought back 22 gold. And we're gonna get 7 gold from here. And what I might actually do is stand these guys down. And wait for these guys then to finish sieging off this area for a couple of euro. and bring them in, and we get a little pop-up here. The Isles have won, if I'm reading that correctly, in a war for the conquest of Orkney against poor old Ser Vertuch. They have indeed. Here is Ser Vertuch. He's wandering. He's been driven out completely. The former king of Alba, under whose rule the kingdom collapsed in 935. I was going to say his primary heir is, he has no primary heir because he's nothing to bestow on anyone. And here is his eldest son, Donal, courtier in our court, who Green Graffador captured, recruited to our court, and he has served us as a brilliant knight. Well, okay, a fairly good knight. It was predominantly the fact that he was made to bring up Kukurka. There was going to be a spin-off series. There was talks HBO was planning to do a spin-off series of following around Donal and Kukurka. I think that's fallen apart now, sadly. But Green Graffador was preparing Donal to rule in Scotland. And of course we accidentally killed his wife while torturing her to find out secrets about Ruacán. But Ser Vertuch has now been driven out completely. Can we invite him to our court out of pity? We can invite him, but he won't come. That is a big, Lord almighty, that's a big court. That's a lot of people. And he won't come to our court because base reluctance 50. He's a confider. Oh, I see, we could confide in him. We could confide in him. So there's the last of our troops back. We disband them. We have all our money. We have a lot of money. What are we going to do with all that money? What are we going to do with all that money? We could build quite a lot of buildings throughout Ireland for various different measures. However, look at this 18 piety. We're gaining absolutely nothing per month. Flann Sinna would be well aware of the rumours that are circulating about him. His archbishop has been bold of recent, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a decision to go on a pilgrimage. I don't want to go to Canterbury, because I don't like Canterbury. We've been to the Vatican. Well, Flann Sinna hasn't been to the Vatican. Green Graffador, I believe, went to the Vatican. Let's go to Jerusalem. Costs a lot of money. Costs a lot of money, which is why we did that bit of raiding. Jerusalem is... The crusade failed. There was a crusade there a while back. We're not allowed inter-crusades. This isn't the papacy. Crusade for Jerusalem failed, so we're going into Muslim lands to visit the holy sites, basically to get a little badge that says we're a pilgrim, and then to use it to make our archbishop and other people like us a bit more. Time to depart. And here is our wife Enid. We've just started trying to seduce a member of her sister's court. We were suspicious about the babby, but apparently the babby is ours, and she has given us a second son, Cian. May you grow to be strong and wise, my son. As we continue about our pilgrimage, we come upon a small town where we notice a throng of people filling the market square. At the centre, a man stands on an overturned fish cart, shouting wildly to all who will listen. The day of judgment is nigh. Repent, repent, I say, or you shall be damned for all eternity. The worried-looking townsfolk nervously whisper to each other, fearful of the doomsayer's words. And we have two options. I sure am glad this pilgrimage comes with an indulgence, so we seem to be believing that the end is indeed coming, but we're going to get an indulgence, so we're fine. We will lose a good chunk of stress, 22 stress. We don't have all that much to lose. Or we could say, that man is not a priest. We'd gain some piety, but surely that man is a priest. Wait a minute, that's not a priest. That's Talorcan Ukahasig. Cast him down! And apparently he's in Desmond. Or he was in Desmond. Or it was just a lunatic in Desmond shouting. But yeah, we've cast him down. Gained some piety. Oh, Talorcan, you fool. So, just like his uncle Green Graffador before him, Flann Sinna has become lost, and we will take the same thing that he did. Oh, I think it wasn't. It was a different lost that Green Graffador had. He had to hire knights. But what we'll do is we will find a guide, no matter what the cost, 50 quid. Here's an interesting alliance that we can make, or not an alliance, but an interesting marriage. Here is the giant son of Éanbachán, one of my best knights, and Mora, Nick Green Graffador, and she has the giant trait, which she has passed on to him. And here is Orla, who was just released from prison. Orla Nick Fingunne. So her father was granted Connacht by Flann Sinna way back in the day to make sure that Uí Néill didn't become too strong when he inherited the actual duchy. I've just released her from prison. Paid 20 quid to get her out. And my uncle Arcade is in love with her. So we could see this family giving us a giant albino. So natural dread plus 15 and prowess. So that'll be rather interesting. I'm going to send that proposal. I'm half tempted to make it matrilineal. So her Evorda family line continues on. I don't think so. I think the Evorda are still in power somewhere. So we'll send that proposal. Not too sure how my uncle is going to feel about this. Now here's a half-brother of the character that we just married off. A son, again, of Mora Nick Green Graffador and her previous husband, a knight who was slain in battle. Attempts to marry him off will result in no chance of children. So if we clear, we could marry Kukurka to... oh yeah, this is our lover. Now I think to keep everything under wraps, we have to we have to send her somewhere. So yeah, we're gonna send that proposal. Marry our lover off to one of our courtiers or one of our vassals, and he accepts. All the strings that Flann Sinna is setting throughout his court, or at least the strings that he thinks he's setting throughout his court. Got some raiders coming down the coast. I wonder if they're going to land in Ireland. Nope, they look to be going away off somewhere else. Look at the big happy smile on him. I've never seen a man as excited to get to a church. I am finally here, body and soul, at the great Abbey of Jerusalem. As the abbot offers me blessings, I reflect on everything that had to happen for God to bring me here. Yeah, at this moment in time. Yeah, that would include killing your uncle. 875 prestige, and he gains the trait Pilgrim. And now Flann Sinna is known for his dedication to his faith. Yeah. And so Flann Sinna returns home, having undergone the journey of a holy man. And the priors and abbots insist that it has changed something about him. I think the only thing it's changed is that it's let him get into his head the idea that he can get away with all the things he's doing. So our spymaster isn't able to uncover any more secrets in Lachtnán's court, so I think we will withdraw her. She could fabricate some, but I think we'll withdraw her for now. And we will send her instead to the last of my major vassals that hasn't gotten a visit from me. High Chieftain Connacht in Munster. So, in our attempts to seduce the Countess of West Riding. We are going to... It's the same one that we received already. It's pretty much for the same reasons. I'm going to go with the exact same option. But instead of travels to Jerusalem, this is travels to Byzantium. And she says, good choice, Flann Sinna. She says as she laughs. So we get smouldering chemistry. So I think Flann Sinna the First was the last High King that the peasants brought cows producing honey-laden milk. I'd look into that. That's not good. Something's gone badly wrong there. And geese laying golden eggs. So yeah, Desmond seems to be doing great. The peasants have brought me gifts. And I could, of course, send in the army to get even more gifts. But no, we're gonna graciously accept the 15 gold that they have brought to us. I honestly didn't know this when I married her. I think we married her to secure an alliance with Iceland. Her father has just died. And she has become the Jarl of Iceland. So that's handy. We could potentially have a child ruling in Ireland and Iceland. We might be connecting these two great. I mean, there's only a letter off in each one of them. But yeah, there you go. Maybe we could make the Earldom of Iceland part of the Kingdom of Ireland. I don't know. But I didn't know she was actually in line to inherit something. So her father died, and one of the sons got Shetland, one of the daughter got Iceland, and the primary title went to the elder brother. Yeah, but the whole thing was split up. So there you go. So Iceland and Ireland have now formed a coalition, a weird coalition. I'm not going to lie. The filth, the pure and utter filth of the writing here, the lewdness. The Archbishop will hear about this, and I don't mean the Archbishop in the game. I mean IRL. The Archbishop is going to hear about this. Your ankles are a bowl of porridge. I can't read anymore. That it's getting too blue. It's getting too blue. Too bold. But our attempt to seduce the Countess of West Riding has succeeded. She wants to know if we're cold or if we're warm or more like a corpse. And apparently my actions will answer her words. So again, plus 20 opinion. Our scheme ends and we take her as a lover. So Flann Sinna has gone riding in West Riding, and as he heard his name being mentioned, the Archbishop heard himself being mentioned, he has driven the heathens out of Dublin. Brilliant work, Onmara. And now we are able to send him to remove the heresy from the holy site. It's not a holy site of insular Christianity. This is the holy site of insular Christianity, but this is Downpatrick, where St. Patrick is believed to be buried. So it's also good that we get the heathens out of there. And that devil on the Isle of Man is trying to get me to pay him more money to take her. The stats aren't great, man. The stats aren't great. I've already given you enough money and you used it to attack me, so go away. Or just let her go. So I'm kind of confused here. I don't know what our uncle saw in Orla. Got good military stats, in all fairness. An albino, which gives a general negative opinion. Possibly, as Flann Sinna ponders on this. He thinks to himself, do you know what? She is attractive in her own way. 75% success chance. We start the scheme. Flann Sinna. Named after the great High King. He's going to enjoy the kingship. This is why he saw his opportunity to strike. When Ruacón and Cuchurca had weakened the kingship to such a degree that he was able to move in, and he saw his opportunity, and he struck. He's an opportunist, and boys oh boys, he'll enjoy his time. We're seeing this place sieged down. I'm trying to figure out who's actually sieging it. It's occupied by a peasant revolt. Peasant revolt. Oh, look at that. 24 prestige. Or 24 martial. 5 prowess. Not great. Do you know what? Koning. You do need our help. Offer to join war. He would accept. And let's bring up... Now he's bringing in some... Who's bringing some forces? Lincoln. God, the poor man is desperately seeking allies. But we'll march in our forces. Actually, where are... They're coming down to Galloway, I think. So we'll hunt them down. Because if we can hit them... Oh, do we need to wait for them to raise up to full capacity before we can move? That makes sense, I suppose. I thought you could move at less than full capacity. If I'd known this, I would have raised them in Ireland. Butcher Yara. So our spymaster has failed to find any secrets in the court of our other High Chieftain. So we won't go so far as to we leave her there for a while more. We might find something out. Our marshal has increased control. So what we will do... Yeah, send him to Leinster. Leinster looks to be in a bad old way. Try and get the control up there. So we're adding... Bringing our army now up to a max of 3,500 as control is restored in various different places. And... oh dear. A swollen belly, you say? Countess Astrid has come to me, and I immediately knew why. She is with child, and there is as little doubt in her heart as in mine as to who the father is. However, with my marriage to her liege's sister, if I'm right, there is nothing I can do except hope that my involvement stays secret. I never thought it would come to this. Now, don't be that naive. After a long roundabout march, our troops have came across from Galloway into Ulster, and they have hit the rebels, just as we get an update, I imagine, on our attempts to seduce Orla. So here's something kind of interesting. She's quite close to her friend, who is our court physician, and not that long ago I actually got a pop-up that she had botched the treatment of my daughter Emer. And one of the options was to imprison her, which I was thinking about. One was to execute her, but what I went with was just... I shouted at her, I gave out to her, and it's a good thing I did, because it could have messed up any chances to seduce Orla. So what will we go with? Oh, she'll get a hook on us. I'd be happier to pay money. Instead of we'll get a definite. Do you know what? Let's give her a weak hook. Let's see how she might use that. So we don't have great advantage because your man is such an effective commander. Oh, of course we have to wait for your man to bring all this to an end. The next time we meet, Orla offers me a wider smile than usual. Anything for a friend of Orla's. And we will disband our army, because we're at 100% war score, so Hopefully our vassal will bring that civil war to an end soon. I don't think we'll gain your man as a prisoner. He's imprisoned by Koning. And if we look at the excuse for a battle there, Embachan came out on top with 4 kills. Koning himself is serving in our armies with 3. There is one of our marshals, and here is one of our knights actually. So these two are half brothers, but here is his wife who we're attempting to seduce, and of course here is Kukarka, who we married off our lover to. Every nook and cranny a dark night can truly make the shadows in my castle's hallways come alive. The perceived risk for unsanctioned visitors rise even ever higher for every unguarded corner spotted. If I alone can see this many faults, imagine what more people with a similar perspective could do. So he's going to hire a group of discreet agents. I imagine his paranoia is getting to him. His paranoia is getting to him a bit. So he is gluttonous, paranoid, and ambitious. So we paid 50 quid to bring in the experts. Nook and Cranny Incorporated, I suppose, or something like that. And Failku has given, he's an expert in the discreet arts. He's given a look over the place. And we have a couple of different options. I already feel safer. We could hire him. We're going to gain stress one way or another unless we kill him. But this way, we gain stress, 50 intrigue, lifestyle experience, improved defenses, and a 22 intrigue spymaster. So we're going to accept that, because we do indeed have use for him. We're going to immediately make him our new spymaster. He continues looking for secrets. We've gotten news that we are being raided by the Isles. After how many years of raiding have we hit these people with? And now they are raiding us, and they made a bad choice, which is they landed very close to our rally point. So we're going to rally our army, and I'd say even if they were to turn around and attack us, they wouldn't be in a position to hit us before we get our numbers up. So they've taken a chunk of gold, and we'll see about cutting them off. Failku hasn't found any secrets. I don't think we're going to go fabricating stuff just yet. And this is probably the most substantial fight that Flann Sinna has had since his reign began. Donal has been wounded. Chieftain Koning wounded. I know that guy. We sold a ton of his kids back to him. At least 2. I think we got 60 quid for him. Yes, well, there's a development here. So we learn that Countess Astrid, her child, we learn who her father is. I wonder who it could be. Yes, I wonder. Lots of people wonder who it could be. If we look at the moment, no, the child is not her heir. I was kind of hoping that the child might actually become her heir. Otar, or Othar. We have a victory over these forces who came in at a very inopportune moment, and they retreat back. Oh no! What's going on here? Is she blackmailing me? She knows about my secret. How does she possibly know? So she is going to get a weak hook on us. How did she know? How did she discover that I was the father of her child? So we could decline child's heritage is exposed. I think Flann Sinna, his paranoia, he's going to have to accept this. And lie in the bed that he made. So Countess Astrid has gained a blackmail hook on us. Oh, I shouldn't have gone sleeping with powerful women. So our victory at the Battle of Glasgow over a substantial force from the Isles. Chieftain Coney again doing great work. Ian Bacon. There is it August? And down into Kukarka, and Donald down at the bottom got himself a bit wounded. So there you go, what an episode. Look at the big happy face on him. Oh boys, there's a happy boy. He's been having a great old episode. Flann Sinna is enjoying the perks of the High Kingship. He's been spreading his seed far and wide, a bit too far and a bit too wide, getting himself into a bit of trouble. He's been blackmailed, and who knows what trouble he will get himself into in the next couple of episodes. Presumably there'll be a couple of episodes. He's 28, he has a long life of shenanigans ahead of him, surely. His paranoia is also getting the better of him, as powerful factions grow up around him. He needs to assert his dominance and control over military vassals in a demilitarizing Ireland. Kukarka would be in favour of pushing for the conquest of Alba, the re-establishment of the Kingdom of Alba. This would not be something that Flann Sinna would be in favour of. And the succession keeps oscillating between Kukarka and Coning. At the moment, it looks like it's Coning who's in line. And only myself and his brother are supporting Kukarka. A lot of people, nearly everyone else, is supporting Coning, except for Coning, who is supporting Scannell. Not too sure who that is. Probably a distant one of the kind of the Scottish branches of the family. But there you go, an interesting episode as we begin to see the depraved rule, I should say, of Flann Sinna, which could lead to the depraved ruin of the Kingdom of Ireland. Thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.